And the applause that goes round the ground, I think, tells you this has been a really good competitive match. Orient in good form have given the top of the table team a hard workout, but Wrexham growing into that game, by the end, I guess it felt like it was a bit of a missed opportunity. The big moment in the first half, Okonkwo's astonishing close-range save from a chance which, frankly, shouldn't have given him a chance. It was a poor finish and a wonderful piece of goalkeeping. And then for Wrexham, an incredible scramble in the goalmouth. Somehow they couldn't force the ball into the net. A good point, I would say, and another clean sheet. The downside, of course, being that Max Cleworth looked to land awkwardly on his ankle and looked in a lot of pain as he went off the pitch. Let's hope that's not as bad as it looks. But overall, I think a draw, probably a fair result.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think, it was always going to be a really difficult place to come. I think everyone knew that coming into today. Not just the fans, but players and staff as well. So to get a point clean sheet, I don't think there'll be too many complaints after what was, I think, it was a hard-working performance. I think, the lads put as much as they could into it. Obviously, a Leyton Orient team that are in really good form. I know they didn't start the season too well, but, a lot of them early games, I think, they sort of just swung the other way at times. It wasn't like they were absolutely pommeled at times. I know that Shrewsbury game probably sticks out to a few people, but they've put in some really good performances so far this season. So, it's no sort of disregard to come here and come away with only a point. I think it's definitely a point gained rather than 2 lost, in my opinion. But obviously the lads will be disappointed. They come into every game expecting to get the 3. But yeah, you look at it, I think Orient, from the chances that I can think back to, I think Orient will definitely think they should have had 1, at least, maybe 2. And Wrexham, I think that Fletcher chance probably is the real outlier in terms of big opportunities probably missed. But yeah, I mean, we've got another difficult away game Tuesday night in Stevenage, and then back home Saturday. And Wrexham will obviously be hoping to get back to winning ways, but yeah, in overall, Mark, I think a fairly fair point.
You rightly pointed out in the opening of the game that Orient were looking to do to us what they did at Stockport when they started at a ferocious pace, put them under pressure and forced mistakes. The first half, in a way, that was the story of it. Until about the half-hour mark, we held them at bay, and it was a good defensive performance, but we weren't really using the ball very well. They had a spell then of about 5 minutes where they were really opening us up. And then we started to come back into it, and the second half was kind of the reverse, fairly even at the start, but then as play wore on, we really started to put pressure on. And after Mullin and Fletcher came on, not criticising Marius and Palmer, who works extremely hard, but we started getting better service up there, and we looked a lot better. So at the start, you felt we were riding a luck, and then by the end, you're thinking, should have won that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was definitely one we grew into in many aspects, but also one I think particularly that first half, they were playing good football, but weren't causing us too many issues. So it's sort of one that you're quite happy to sort of sit back away from home, and have faith in that defensive shape, which we can do because it is so strong. But yeah, definitely second half got into it a bit more, got a few more chances, definitely caused them a bit more pressure and made them look like we were going to score. I thought it was coming, especially near that end. I think, that obviously the Max Cleworth is probably going to be the headline out of today, sadly. But that sort of disrupted it in many aspects as well. I think we had a bit of momentum at that point, and then it obviously, when you make substitutions, it's always going to change games, like we saw with Palmer and Marriott going off for Fletcher and Mullin. But overall, I think a point's probably a fair result. I think give it another 10 minutes on another day, maybe we come away with all 3, but it wasn't meant to be today. Yeah,
Evans came on as well, coming back from injury, and he looked sharp. I like the look of him. And Scar coming on, won a couple of excellent headers. But shame for Cleworth, who also, again, was continuing his excellent form. He was playing really well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been on fire so far for the start of the season. I think he's, a few question marks on what his role would be this year, going up another level and into League One. But he's absolutely answered those questions with his feet and with his head in many aspects. With, not only his defensive performances, but also the goals he's added to his game. And yeah, it's massively disappointing that obviously he's obviously gone down in some serious pain. Obviously, we hope it's nothing too serious, nothing too long term. But also now from another aspect, you've got to look at it as Dan Scarr's opportunity, maybe Lewis Brunt's opportunity to get into the team. You know, we said that about when Andy Cannon had that injury a few weeks ago with Ollie Rathbone. He came in, did well. Andy Cannon's obviously come back into the side because of the form he was in, but you know, this is why you have to have a strong squad. You know, we obviously hoped we wouldn't have to use it as much as we have maybe as early in the season as we have done, but yeah, obviously hugely disappointed for Max. Absolutely feel for him given the start of the season he's made, but yeah, an opportunity for someone else to come in and fill that gap.
Yeah, absolutely so. But let's hope Max is okay anyway. The so 0-0 draw here. Good solid result. We're back again, of course, tomorrow with coverage of Wrexham women against Swansea City women. I please go to the game, get to it. Seriously, it's going to be worth it. It's a big match now for Wrexham, even this early in the season. And then we'll have full commentary on Tuesday from Stevenage as Wrexham again make the long trek down to the southeast. It's been a pleasure bringing the game to you, but no goals, a decent point with the final score of Leyton Orient 0, Wrexham 0. We're Mia Roberts and Mark Griffiths.